I apologize in advance if I'm doing a lot of sniffling throughout this video. My allergies decided to start acting up as I'm getting ready. My lighting was already set up, so I didn't want to just like not do the video. So if it annoys you, I apologize. This video is about what to do after you get your license. So you're excited, you're happy, you finally passed that test, which trust me, y'all, I know that test is difficult. I was definitely on a journey to get past that test, and when I finally did, I was so shocked that like I didn't even know, like I don't even think my true excitement even came through, because I was just like, oh my god, I cannot believe I finally passed it. I took it a few times, not gonna say how many, but if you have taken it multiple times, do not worry, do not be ashamed. That is a hard test. I'm in Georgia, and I know a lot of people, like, I felt kind of bad, like, dang, like, I had to take it a couple times. But then when you start going to different agencies and you talk to different people, they're like, how do you feel? Like, that's amazing you passed that test. It's a tough test. So I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one that thinks it's hard. It's definitely hard. It's definitely tough. So if you have made it to this point, you have passed it, definitely give yourself a pat on the back. That is a huge accomplishment. No matter how many times it took you to pass it, you finally passed it, and that's amazing. So now we're going to go over what I feel are the important things to know once you've passed it. So I have got my list of things that I want to talk about. I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. So we'll just get straight into it. Okay, you passed the test, that's amazing, but you cannot work with clients until your license is hung at a brokerage. So that's the first thing that you want to focus on, is who you're going to work with, where you're going to hang your license, like what brokerage firm is the one that is going to give you everything that you need. So if you haven't done it already, take a moment and write a list of things that are important to you when you're looking for a brokerage. So a couple of things that I think are key things to think about is where you're going to get guidance from. You're going to need guidance. This is a field that maybe you've never had any experience in. Maybe you've never had any experience in sales either, and you need to know what to do, which direction to go, where to start. So you need guidance. You want to look for some place that gives you great mentorship, somebody that is willing to take the time to kind of hold your hand a little bit and show you which way to go. You may even want to find a mentor that maybe doesn't necessarily work at the same place as you, but is willing to put in the time to kind of like help point you in the right direction. You want training. Training is so key, and I had to learn this myself as well. Actually, I already know that training is really important, but I think that for me, I didn't put enough emphasis on it when selecting an agency, because agencies will tell you everything that you want to hear. They'll tell you that they offer X, Y, and Z, and they do all these amazing things, and then when it comes down to it, that might not actually be true. Maybe like, okay, you got your license, go figure it out, which sucks. Trust me, I know, I get it, it sucks. You definitely want to make sure you pick a place that absolutely offers you amazing training and is going to help you build your brand and show you what direction to go in. If location is important to you, make sure you pick a place that has a good location. It's not too far from you, so you can get to the office conveniently. What kind of amenities are offered? What do they charge for? What are all the monthly fees? How helpful is the administration support? What type of reputation does the brokers at that office have? What type of reputation do the realtors have? Is there a high turnover rate? Do the realtors stay really long, or do they often switch to other places? Do they give you leads? What kind of management support is there? Do they offer any referrals, or do they offer any CE courses? These are just some of the things out of the list of items that you may want to decide if they're important for you before you're picking a brokerage to hang your license. So the next thing you may want to consider when selecting a brokerage is, do you want to go with one that is more of a boutique style, or do you want to go with a larger one? So if you're going to go with one that's more boutique style, that means it's a smaller agency. They may not be nationwide. They may have one office, or they may have a few offices, and they're going to have less agents. It's just like a smaller style of agency. When it comes to boutique styles, they may be more selective as to who they allow to join their agency, because they may, be very specific about who they bring on, since they do not have that many agents. You may have more freedom in how you brand yourself and how you market yourself as an agent, because it is smaller, and you may have, more leeway to do things the way that you want. But they may not have the extensive training that you may be looking for. And I'm not saying that every large or small brokerage is exactly what I'm saying, but this is just like a generalization of how boutique style agencies or larger ones may be run. If you're looking for a larger one, you may have more access to like extensive training, which if training is important to you, that's something that is, you know, definitely a key factor to look into. It definitely will probably be more competitive because since they are on a larger scale, they do have a larger amount of agents working at that location or under that brand. And they also may have specific guidelines for branding for their agents because it's a bigger company. They may want their agents to do things in a certain way. Really, it's just going to come down to which things are more important to you, which things are you willing to kind of compromise on. It's really about personal preference. You just kind of have to do your research, look into all the agencies, and figure out, you know, which direction you want to go in. So moving on, another thing you want to look into once you pick your brokerage agency or before you pick your brokerage is, do you want to work on a team or do you want to work independently? So you're going to want to see if, you know, the agency that you're selecting has the option of working with the team, if that's something you want to do. So working with the team just basically means that you're working with a group of people. There's a broker that maybe manages over several agents and you guys are all working for a team. You guys all work together. So there's a lot of different ways. It just depends on their brokerage how things go, but they may have like a certain number that everybody gets a call. Whoever picks up first is the one that gets to get that lead and then try to make that transaction from there. But I think that working with a team might be good for a newer agent if you're someone that just doesn't know which way to go, what to do, doesn't have that experience, because they're going to invest in you because this is like their specific team that they are working with, and they're going to take the time to give you direction and give you a foundation to grow with. So the downside of that though is that you will have a huge chunk of your commission, you know, taken away from you, but it's not something that's permanent. It just is a good starting guide for you. So one thing to do is never really focus on the commission cut. If you are at a place or on a team that is giving you all that training and that guidance that you need, it's definitely worth giving a bit more of your commission, because then you'll be able to walk away and work independently if you want, with that knowledge and that foundation that you were able to get from the team, which you may have not gotten if you worked individually. So working individually means just like you're kind of doing your own thing, you're getting your own leads, you're getting your own referrals, you get to keep the whole cut outside of what the brokerage gets. But like I said, it really just depends on your personal preference. So when you finally pick a brokerage that you want to go to, one thing to keep, well, there's two things to keep in mind. One thing is that it's not permanent. You are never stuck at any brokerage that you choose to sign with. You can leave at any time. They can't tell you can't leave. There may be certain stipulations that that particular agency has in regards to maybe the clients that you are currently working with, or maybe they paid for your classes and so you're committed to a certain amount of time. But outside of that, you can switch to any brokerage at any time. They can't tell you can't go. But you also don't want to be an agent that is kind of like bouncing around trying to, you know, go to different agencies, which is why it's good to do your research, you know, do your interviews and make sure that you're picking a place where you feel that you can grow and that you feel really is like your vibe and that you can really see yourself being with. When you're going over your contract, like say you're doing your interview, you're going over your contract, you decided to sign, it's negotiable. Like, of course they don't tell you that, and that's something that I didn't know either, but the terms of that contract are very negotiable. So the whole thing you want to remember is, as much as they might be interviewing you, you're interviewing them as well. Like, their goal is to have agents that are going to bring them money to make their agency successful, but you have to interview them and make sure that they meet all the qualifications that are on your list, because this is where you're hanging your license. This is the company that essentially is representing you. So make sure you ask your questions and make sure that you get everything you want. Like I said, if there is a certain fee or whatever it is, it doesn't hurt to try. It's negotiable. You might come out and get an even better deal than, you know, you thought you could, because you don't know. A lot of times you don't know that this contract is not something that's like, okay, it's A or B, there's no in between. Yeah, you can totally negotiate and you can totally try to fix the terms that are better suited for you. And you don't have to feel like you have to sign on that spot. Like, definitely, you know, if you feel like, okay, I kind of want to be here, go home, do some more research, look over the contract, look into the company some more, and take your time, a couple of days, and decide if that's where you want to go. Don't feel the pressure to be like, oh my God, if I don't sign today, then I can't be here. No, take your time, go think about it, look over some more paperwork, see how the company is, and then come back and give them your answer with whatever stipulations you might want to change. Okay, so for some reason, half of the information that I had recorded from this video like disappeared. So it's taken me a minute to be able to find time to sit back down and re-record the portion of this video that got deleted. I have my notes here to make sure that I don't repeat anything that I already stated. Okay, so once you've chosen a brokerage, it's time to start putting yourself out there and start marketing and advertising yourself as a new realtor. So you can use Facebook, you can use Instagram, Twitter, what else is there? Snapchat, whatever social media outlets you are accustomed to and maybe you're already familiar with and maybe you already have a following. It could be YouTube. Make sure you utilize those to get the word out that you are a real estate agent. You're also going to want to make sure that you get some business cards because you're going to run into people and you're going to want to give them your information. If you can get a digital card, that would be awesome as well, because not only do you want to give people your information, but you want to get their information as well. So you want to ask them for their email and their phone number so that, say someone's like, yeah, you know, I'm not looking right now, take your card. You can always follow up with them and send them an email or send them a text, you know, just kind of checking in on them to see if maybe they're ready to, you know, look for a home. If you don't want to get the digital card, and I say the digital card because if you get the digital card, then it's kind of easy to ask for the information because you'll be like, oh, okay, let me send you the card. What's your number? And then you can send it to them. But if you want to be a little cautious and you're giving your information out to people that you don't know, maybe it's best to kind of just give them a card, and then you can ask for the information or not ask for the information. It's up to you. But as far as building your contact list, that's how you build it, is by getting people's information. So either way, you want to get some type of business card that you can give out to people that you meet so that they have a way to contact you, so that when they're ready to buy or sell or lease, whatever the case may be, they know where to reach you and you're on their mind. You want to start contacting people in your sphere. So that's going to be like family, friends, maybe past co-workers, maybe people you went to school with. You basically want to let everybody that you know that you're a realtor, and that if they're looking or if they know someone that's looking to, you know, keep you in mind, so that you can kind of be the realtor, the go-to realtor that helps them or anybody they know on the journey of buying or purchasing a home. So another reason why social media is really good, social media or just maybe going to networking events, real estate is all about building relationships. And so in order to build relationships with people, you have to socialize and encounter different people. So like I said, it's going to networking events. That's maybe just engaging with people through social media, whatever you can do to build those relationships so that when real estate is something that's on someone's mind, they think of you because you kind of already put it out there that that's the industry that you're in now and that you're more than happy to help them or anybody that they know. Just going over what I said, it's important to remember that secret agents don't get business. So you can't be in real estate but nobody knows, because then how do you expect to get business? So make sure you do whatever you can to get the word out there that you are a real estate agent and you're looking for business. So another step that I would recommend is creating a business plan. With any business that you have, you're going to need a business plan, and real estate is no different. Real estate is like being an entrepreneur and building a brand new business. It's all about you. It's a commission-based business. It's all about you personally as the agent and marketing yourself and putting yourself out there. Like, this is essentially your brand new business that you are building. So by having a business plan, you can kind of sit down and have a clear vision of what it is that you want for your business. What are the goals that you want to accomplish? What's the direction you want to go in? What type of agent do you want to be? I think just writing that down in a business plan form can kind of give you some type of direction. Make sure you know what type of real estate you're interested in. So are you trying to go the commercial route? Do you want to do residential? Maybe you want to do luxury homes. Maybe you want to do investment properties. Maybe you want to work with people that are flipping homes. Whatever it is, just try to figure it out. I mean, if you want to do all of it, by all means, go for it. But it's kind of good to figure out what your niche is and then kind of like focus on that and try to gear your advertisement and your marketing on that population of people that you're trying to attract as a realtor. One of the main things you really want to remember once you get your license is that what you learn in your real estate class does not prepare you for what life is really like in the world of real estate. So what you learn in those classes is basically how to stay out of jail, how to learn all the basics, all the laws, all the things that you need to do to keep up as a licensed real estate agent. But it is no substitute for, or no substitute or preparation for what it's like to actually be out there working with clients, marketing yourself, and becoming a brand new agent. And so that's why it's really going to be important to connect with experienced agents who are willing to take the time to kind of like show you the ropes, whether it's to be a mentor or just to kind of go, you know, on showings or closings or listing appointments with them. There's nothing that takes the place of that hands-on face-to-face experience. So finding agents, like I said, that are seasoned within this industry to connect with so that you can kind of see firsthand what it's like to actually go through the various steps that real estate agents go through on a daily basis. So as far as like learning different things within your brokerage, start reviewing contracts, start looking over the different paperwork, start looking over the different steps for listings, for closings, for a buyer brokerage agreement. Just make sure you're familiar with all of these different things so that when you do finally have a client, you're going to be super prepared because you've already looked over all of these things. You can also go to the different departments within your brokerage and, you know, kind of ask them to kind of explain to you maybe how things work if they have some free time, maybe go over the contracts or go over the different things that are needed so that you're familiar with that and you've kind of already built that relationship with the person who's going to be handling you know, whether it's like your contracts or whatever. Just get familiar with the different departments within your brokerage so that you always know what's going on when you have a client that you're working with. Another thing that's important is find out what type of agent you are and what works for you. So like I said, for me, I feel like social media is something that I'm comfortable with and I'm familiar with. So for me, I want to try to promote myself through social media, but maybe that's not your thing. Maybe you're not really familiar with the whole social media thing or the whole marketing thing. So maybe cold calling is what you want to do. You can be calling for sale by owners. You can be calling expired listings. Maybe door knocking is something you want to do where you're going door to door in different communities and maybe leaving an advertisement on their at their door, or maybe knocking on the door and just saying, hey, you're a new agent, just kind of getting them familiar with who you are. All of these things are various ways that you can put yourself out there as an agent. This really comes down to doing what's most comfortable for you. As a female, for me, door knocking is not really my thing. Cold calling is not really my thing either. Especially door knocking, you want to be very careful because you don't know who's going to be on the other side of that door. You don't know how welcoming they may be to someone, some random person knocking on their door. Just really be careful if that's the route that you choose to go on. Always be safe. Make sure you're doing it in the daylight. Don't do it at night. If you can, bring somebody with you. Just find what works for you. So the last thing I want to add is that the real estate industry is constantly evolving, growing, changing. So you really got to stay up to date, not just with like your CE classes and your post-licensure classes, but just with the different technologies that come along with real estate. Nowadays, mostly everything is like done digitally. Like you still do in-person things, but a lot of things can be done on your phone. Just you want to stay up to date with the different changes in the market, the different types of homes that are being built in your area and your community. There's just always something going on and always things are always evolving. There's a lot of different like blogs or websites or Instagram or Facebook pages that you can kind of stay up to date with on a regular basis just to kind of keep you in the loop with what's going on in real estate. So I hope that this video was helpful for you. If it was, please give me a thumbs up. I would love to know your feedback. What did you think? Did this information come in handy for you? Did you see my previous video? I will link that one below as well because that's telling you what to do before you even get into real estate. Hit that notification bell so you know when I post a video. Like I said, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're following me on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. And make sure you subscribe. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.